here, the Box to Box Radio podcast. This is Travis Carmichael. You know by the music and the sound of my voice that this is the away leg. I'm so good. I don't need home field advantage. Again, shout out to Sincerely Yours for the unbelievable music as always. I'm sitting here with Mason Carmichael and producer Chris. Trav is dead to me. He decided that a baseball game is more important than my away leg. How dare he? Guys, how we feeling?
Hey, Chris, before I tell Travis how I'm feeling, is there any way we could get like a booing sound effect right after he says his intro?
Yeah, like add it to the whistle, but like whenever he makes a stupid point, just be like, boo.
Hey, the hate fuels me. That's all I got to say.
Or you could just like have the sound bite from the empty hat and just have crickets.
Oh, I did use that one time.
He did use the crickets one time, yeah.
Well, so you did get it from the empty hat of Man City. Okay, cool.
He was there, apparently.
Love it.
I'm feeling great. A little tired. Was in Mexico all week last week. And
oh, yeah, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to give my opinions about things that you've come up with. So
I didn't miss you on the away leg.
Or ways to just really push his buttons.
Yeah, I mean, you probably didn't miss me because you were so used to me squashing you like a little bug that you are, that you were happy to have some freedom.
You're just like Paul Pogba, like you're really good and you're a lot of money, but you're just ineffective. So I didn't really miss you, but you know, it's like the fans are screaming that we keep you on, so it's like, all right, I guess I have to, even though you don't do anything for the show.
Hey, I'm Nicholas Bentner, or I don't play. That's it right there. I'm Nicholas Bentner, or I don't play.
Anyway, producer Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Superman does good, Chris. You do well.
Oh, thank you.
This is why I didn't miss him when he was in Mexico. You didn't find like 8 orphans you could adopt down there and just hang out and have a little soccer team and win the league. And
they actually do need people to adopt and foster down there. So
well, there you go.
Thank you for bringing awareness to that.
Yeah.
Aren't you a coach? You can build a team.
There you go. I'm gonna go win. There you go.
There you go.
Well, the most losingest team.
Well, hold on.
In Mexico,
we talked about this Friday because we knew that they were going to come back. Did you bring us anything back?
Yeah, what is this?
What is this?
I brought you my love, my affection, and my hosting abilities.
I don't want any of that crap.
So.
A T-shirt, baby?
not even like a snow globe.
They didn't have. Where do you think I was?
Snow,
guys,
sand globe.
Guys, I wasn't on vacation. I was on a mission trip.
Yeah, that's fair. They didn't have a gift shop at the.
They had a market.
Orphan ministry.
They did. They had a market.
Hold on, you didn't build a gift shop?
Next year, y'all are coming with me. We're doing a box-to-box radio mission trip, so y'all can see how ignorant you are.
I mean, that's fair. No, but in all seriousness, Mason, really proud of the work you do there with the ministry. Love that you went down and worked with some people and with your church in Mexico. I think that's really cool. And then, obviously, great to have you back as well.
Yeah, I got through customs.
That's very important because producer Chris was worried about you there.
Yeah.
Guys, we would love to have you get in on the banter. We love to kind of joke around on the show, and we want to hear what you have to say, whether that's a question, comment, concern, or if you have an away leg question for us, we'd love to use it. The best way to get at us, our Facebook is Box to Box Radio, Instagram, Box to Box _radio, our Twitter, @B_radio. Obviously, Mason is super active on Twitter, so call him out on all his lame takes. Our email, if you have anything you want us to talk about on the show or an away leg question that we can do, is 90min@boxtoboxradio.com. We are on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. And also some big news coming up. We're working on our website. It's almost complete, and the website's going to have a ton of stuff on there. We're going to have some articles by Trav and Mason. We're going to have bios on us and ways you guys can get more involved. So we're really excited about that. And then obviously, again, Sincerely Yours, one of the best bands in Austin, hooking us up with the music.
And very, very interested in revealing deep, dark personal secrets at bachelor parties, from what I hear.
That's neither here nor there. You weren't there, so we can't talk about it. But
serving orphans, sorry.
Congratulations. Obviously, my former roommate, Tony Wilkins, is getting married this upcoming weekend.
To the Wilkster.
And Dalton Teague, why that's relevant, Dalton Teague, who is the lead singer of Sincerely Yours, he was at the bachelor party with myself and a few others. So shout out to Tony. Congratulations, my man. Guys, without further ado, are you guys ready to get roasted on the away leg?
Yeah, can I make one more little comment?
I guess I'll allow it as the king of the away leg in this dictatorship.
It's pertinent. So for all you listeners out there, if you hear a loud crash and bang in the background, we're in an ominous setting right now. There's thunder and lightning outside, so
Yeah, remember like 2008 Euros where like it was Austria playing and the ball like stopped in the puddle?
That's going to be us.
It's raining twice as hard right now.
Yeah, in Austin. And then also because of that, producer Chris's dog, Luna, who we affectionately call Moon, is inside with us. So if you hear any whining or howls in the background that we're unable to take out, just know that our unofficial mascot, the cutest German Shepherd dog you've ever seen, Moon, it has some hot takes on whatever we're going to be talking about.
Don't worry, PETA. We have Moon hooked up with treats and water.
Yeah,
and
Moon's fine.
We're not sacrificing chickens.
Yeah, she's not outside in the rain and in the storm. She's on the back porch running around in the backyard when we record, but today she gets to be inside, and maybe she'll have a hotter take than A-Day, who's not here.
That's factual. I mean, guys, but speaking of hot takes, we're gonna go right out of the gun here. So this is going to be an interesting question. I can't wait to see what stupid things Mason's going to say. So again, disappointment again for Lionel Messi. They lose the opening game of the Copa America 2-0 to Colombia. Colombia, very good side. Argentina just looked in shambles, disarrayed, unorganized. Obviously, Messi has been just severely in devastation that he's never won a trophy with Argentina. When he lost the World Cup final, it was said that he was quoted as saying best in the world, but still not a champion. So really some psychological damage there. But guys, my question is very simple. Is Argentina better with or without Messi in the lineup?
I think he's better with.
He's better with or they're better with? Again, producer Chris, you got to listen to the question, my man.
Had the dog. She was
okay. All right,
nipping at the bottom.
Fair.
Yeah, so I think that Messi is,
as a team.
No, stop it.
And as a unit.
Stop.
And as a group that will be successful and get farther in winning tournaments, Argentina is a better team without Lionel Messi in the 11.
That might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard you say. So, look, I will find the compromise because that is ignorant because you cannot have one of the best players to ever play the game.
And lose 2-0 to Colombia? Yeah, okay.
Okay, is it Messi's fault or whose fault is it?
So that's actually a great point, and that's going to bring me into my explanation. Do you want to give your
no?
take
Please
first
enlighten me so I can bring it all down at once because it's not Messi's fault they lost 2-0.
It's not. I agree with you on that.
Hey, look at that! I get a point. 1-0.
So either the ethos in the team has to shift to where they don't view Messi as their get out of jail free card.
That I agree with.
And what I mean by that is every time Argentina got in trouble, they did the old-fashioned kicking and screaming, let's pass to the Italians maneuver. So I literally watched the highlight from that game where it's Messi versus 8 Colombian defenders. And he embarrasses about 4 of them. And don't get me wrong, he's phenomenal, but none of his teammates are moving off the ball. None of his teammates are trying to work to get in positions to help him out. It's because they're like, oh, well, there's a freaking demigod right there on our team. Let's give him the ball and watch him do magic. And this Argentina team is not mature enough and does not have enough star power on it to act like Messi is the end-all, be-all. They're not good enough defensively. Their midfield's not good enough. As Travis said on Monday, they don't have a Mascherano-type holding midfielder who can hold it down in the middle while Messi just has the free range to attack. Messi literally has to do everything for this team. So, as a team, and for team performances, if you take Messi out of the equation, it forces Argentina to play. It forces them to work hard for each other. It forces them to run. It forces them to pass the ball. It forces them to have a plan. And I think it makes them better if Messi's not in the lineup. But I'm willing to concede that if Argentina changes their ethos and said, okay, we're not just a good team because we have Messi, we're a good team and we have Messi. I think if that's the thought process behind their management and their players and their style of play, I think they're one of the top 5-6 teams in the world. But that has never happened when Leo Messi's been on the national team.
Yep, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because Argentina, there are 2 reasons. One, Messi and Dybala don't get along. And you're getting to a point in their career where Messi doesn't like Dybala. Dybala doesn't like living in the shadow of Messi. They got to suck it up because Messi needs a trophy. And if you're telling me Dybala doesn't belong in that 11, you're dumb.
It's garbage.
So, look, here's the reality of the situation. Argentina, I think, in my opinion, is failing because they're not utilizing Messi correctly because they're playing him in the wrong position.
Where would you play Leo Messi?
So here's the big problem for me with Argentina. They always come out in either a 4-4-2 or maybe a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Look, Messi has always not had luck getting service. So he comes so deep to get the ball. And then when he gets it, like you said, he can beat 4 of the 8 guys, but he can't beat all 8 because he's not Superman. He's close, but he's not quite Superman. So the idea is if we get Messi the service, Messi will score. But you can't get Messi the service, so he has to come pick it up in his own half, and it's almost impossible to score from there.
Yeah.
So he needs to not be goal scorer. He needs to play provider in terms of service.
Like a 10.
He needs to play at a 10, and you have to tell him you get to go wherever you want, and you have to play Aguero, and you have to play Dybala ahead of him so that he can have service to Aguero, he can have service to Dybala. So Dybala, a little bit unproven, a little young. When he's on, he's on. So you have to give him a chance. Higuain, out of here, garbage. Aguero, when he gets service, is great. Unbelievable. He's proven it at Man City. So you have to get him service because right now no one can get the ball service. So I personally would play a 4 diamond 2. I would sit in a little tighter. Di Maria on the left can help work in the middle. You have to define his role a little bit.
And then
you have to rein him in.
Lo Celso on the right.
Yep. And then you have to find somebody in the country that's mean and is a 6 and can just kick people.
So,
maybe even Otamendi at a 6.
You're pushing it too far there, mate. So that's my issue, right? Is that's all fine and good, and that would probably get the best out of Messi, Dybala, and Aguero.
Which would win you more games than not.
However, they don't have the defensive structure or the personnel to pull that off. So
then you have to find that person.
But here's what I would do. I want to tweak your formation a little bit.
But Messi has to be the 10 is the most important part.
I would play a 4-2-3-1 because how much defense in that diamond is Messi going to play?
0.
And in a diamond 4, your number 10 has to play defense. He has to track at least a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
you want to play 2 blocks of 4?
I want to play almost a 4-4-1-1, but more like a 4-2-3-1. I want Dybala on the right.
He's not going to defend.
He'll defend a little more than Messi will.
Maybe.
And Di Maria is going to play enough defense for the both of them,
yeah,
right?
That's fair.
So Di Maria on the left, Messi at the 10, Aguero at the striker, and then Lo Celso and probably Lucas Biglia as the other center midfielder, or maybe Rodriguez, somebody in the middle.
That can work hard and defend.
That can work hard because Lo Celso is a good player, or maybe Paredes is really, really good as a midfielder too. And you're not going to have a 6. You're not going to have a hard-hitting number 6 that's going to sit in and win you games. You're going to need to play a dual 8. You're going to need to have both those guys go up and back together and work out a system, which they're smart players. They can do. And then that back line's okay. I mean, you got Saravia at right back, and he's pretty good. You've got Otamendi and Pazzella, who's a young center back that plays for River Plate, I believe, as your center backs, and then Tagliafico, who's one of the best left backs in the world.
And then also the goalkeeper.
Armani's not bad. And then you have Nahuel, too, who can step into the pipes for Tigres. So I think they got a good spine and good players. I agree with you. I think you have to there's something to be said about being able to get your best players on the field, even if that means tweaking their roles a little bit. And if I am the manager of Argentina and I want to get the best out of Messi and win trophies and say that he wants to be in my starting lineup, I say, all right, Messi and Dybala, I want you guys going like this and interchanging the whole game. Messi, find pockets out wide, come in, or start in the middle. Dybala, find pockets wide, come in, or drift into the middle and take some of that creative burden off Leo Messi. Because we're also forgetting that Leo Messi's a goal scorer too.
Yeah.
And so if Dybala has some of that creative burden for Leo Messi,
they can switch a little bit.
They're going to be able to get Messi in better positions to score goals.
So I also think, go ahead, producer Chris.
When he plays for Barcelona, he gets some of the best service and some of the best passes
absolutely
in the world.
Correct.
But when he's playing for Argentina, there isn't a single person that can duplicate those same
He's their
passes.
only chance creator.
I agree.
Exactly. But even then, I honestly don't feel that you said that they had a good defense. They have an amazing front line. I really believe that Dybala doesn't belong there. I think that he doesn't belong there for.
So who's better?
There isn't anybody better.
But here's my thing: we just talked about.
Don't feel that he is able to provide the service that Messi.
So hold
needs.
on,
but we just talked about chance creation. You said that Messi's the only one on the team that creates chances. I'm sorry, Chris. Have you ever watched Juventus play before?
Yes.
Have you seen how many chances Dybala creates in a 90-minute span?
Yes.
So he's a guy that can get Messi the ball in good positions.
But when he plays for Argentina, it's not the same.
Okay, we're talking about setting them up in a way that would have them be conducive to one another. Are you saying that that's not possible to do?
I think that the service and the passes that Dybala gives are not the same type of passes and service that Barcelona's
But there's
It's not.
Yeah.
Rakitic.
Right, right.
Rakitic
But-
can give him, and that there's a different style of play and different.
apples to oranges here.
Yeah,
It's different.
I get that, but at the same time, I think that he does need to be on the team, regardless. Messi has to be on the team, but he just doesn't have the service that he normally gets from Barcelona, and that's the only reason that he gets.
So
he can score.
I want to
score.
I want to go back to your point. You said Dybala does not deserve to be in the lineup. Yes or no?
If he can produce the same type of
Who's
service,
So if the answer's no, who's better?
I honestly don't have an answer.
Yeah,
but that's the
I don't
prob-
either.
I think Salvio is the next step.
And that tells you all you need to know.
And that's my biggest thing right now with Leo
Exactly.
Messi is there's too much pressure on Messi to produce for Argentina.
Yeah, they have to
That's
help
a
it.
big issue.
So
Because you look at Ronaldo in Portugal, right? So there is a supporting cast of players around Cristiano Ronaldo that can get him the ball. Bernardo Silva can get him the ball. William Carvalho can create passes to get him the ball, right? Quaresma, Nani, these are guys that have been over the years been able to get Cristiano Ronaldo the ball to where he can score goals. Name one other player on Argentina that's good enough and creative enough to get Messi the ball.
Dybala when he wants to be, which
Exactly.
is about 50-50, yeah.
And if you can find a world where him and Leo Messi, and that's a big if, where him and Leo Messi can coexist on the same pitch together, that's one of the top 6 teams in the world.
So here's my thing, and this is why it baffles me why no manager has done this. You have to sit both of them down and you have to say, look, Messi, you are potentially the greatest player Argentina has ever produced. Dybala, you can be the next Messi. But here's the thing.
I don't think you word it like that.
But look, maybe not. But this is generality.
You can be greater than he ever had the ability to be.
Right. But
if you just play ball, son.
But here's my point. You have to say to both of them, look, you will never be the greatest player ever, either one of you, in the history of the program unless you win.
Yeah, that's true.
And you have to have each other to win.
Because Maradona right now is the best Argentinian player that they've ever
Yeah,
produced.
because Messi hasn't won anything.
Because Messi hasn't won anything.
Which pains me because I don't like Maradona.
Internationally, Maradona is better than Messi, but I'm not talking about of all time. So Messi, of course, his club form and what he's able to do is ridiculous, but he hasn't proved that in blue and white.
So just to recap and verify, Argentina are better with Messi in the system as long as the system is tweaked, yes or no?
Yes.
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 Boom. Point
Yes.
Chris, point me, 0 for Mason. All right, moving on.
But half point for Mason because
No, half point.
because that is a big if. And you ask me right now, is Argentina better with or without Messi? And right now they're better without Messi.
That's not correct. So
Agree to disagree.
0 points for Mason because
Half point.
I am the king. Nope, I am the
point.
king of the away leg.
Oh, hold on.
Nope.
Be better.
Be better, Mason.
Exactly, be better.
No, I'm not
point.
talking about that. I'm
No.
talking about the team.
No.
Yeah.
No point.
Argentina, be better.
better.
No point.
Be
I am
better.
the dictator. This is the away leg. Moving on. Guys, similar question, but we're going to flip the scope here. Another great team in Copa America is Brazil. Neymar is not playing this tournament. Here's my question. Is Brazil better without Neymar or with Neymar?
I hate myself for saying this. They were worse without Neymar.
What?
I hate myself for saying this, but they were worse without Neymar.
So I have a stat for you, Mason.
Okay.
Do you know the average amount of time per 90-minute matches that Neymar spends per match on the floor? This is a
I'm going to say
legitimate stat.
about 17 minutes.
No, don't be ridiculous.
9.
No, not
3.
that much. 3 minutes. He spends 3 of the 90 minutes on average on the floor.
But that doesn't take away the fact that he's a phenomenal soccer player.
But here's my point. It's a distraction.
I agree.
Brazil has no leadership. It's a distraction. He barely wants to be there as it is. He's very good, but he might be, in my opinion, I think Neymar is the biggest waste of talent to ever put on a pair of soccer shoes.
So I think he's a waste of talent because, honestly, agreed with you. If he had the right work ethic and mindset, he could be a million times better than he already is. But he's still top 3 on that roster for Brazil.
yeah,
talent-wise.
so here's my thing. You look at the roster. Who can play wide? You have Neres coming up, who's unbelievable.
Neres is good.
You have
Douglas Costa.
Douglas Costa. You have Richarlison, who's, they've been playing him wide because Bobby Firmino
Everton
will play
Luiz.
up front. Everton Luiz, who scored an unbelievable goal. And in my opinion, the real star of Brazil, if you let him be the star, is Coutinho.
Yeah, as a 10. So I'm not saying that his attitude is better for the team. I'm just saying that creativity, goal scoring opportunities, things like
But
that.
it's a distraction.
They're better to watch. They have more ideas in the final third with him, because you watch that Brazil team in their opening game of the Copa America, and they struggled to create chances in that first half because Neymar is a big part of that chance creation. So I think just objectively, based on talent, based on what I've seen from the team and how they've played, Neymar makes them a better team. I hate Neymar. I think he's a great footballer with a horrible attitude. So if I'm the coach of Brazil, don't get me wrong, Brazil is better short term with Neymar on the field. Long term, I think they're better with him off the field. But short term, watching them right now, they're better. But if I'm the manager of Brazil, I understand if I'd want to omit Neymar from the squad in the future because, again, you're right, he's a locker room cancer. But the question wasn't how is Brazil going to be in the future if Neymar's on the field or off the field. The question is right now, is Brazil better with Neymar on or off the field? And they're better with him on the field.
I don't know, man. I just think it's too much of a distraction. I think the whole captaincy thing was a bit of a joke.
He should have never been captain.
Yeah, but I think there are better options moving forward. I think you have some really good young Brazilians coming in, and I think he's a distraction.
And going back to the fact that he's been on the floor for 3 minutes during the game. Let's just say that you have a certain flow of the game.
Yeah.
And it stops
kills the flow of the game.
Exactly. It stops the flow of the game. That is terrible to do to the entire team, especially when you're on the floor.
But the dude also won an Olympics with Brazil.
Yeah, but that's not the World Cup.
Yeah, but did he win the Olympics, or he was just the focal point of the media?
He was a big part. And then at the World Cup this summer, he was a big part of the World Cup.
Yeah, I agree. But it's just like I think Brazil, same as Argentina, kind of undo themselves, and they're their own worst enemy because of there's so much pressure put on there. And I think there's so much more pressure put on Brazil because of Neymar's attitude and his antics. And I think if he wasn't playing, people would care less if Brazil was successful or not.
Yeah, that's fair. And again, like I said, long term, Neymar off the field is probably better for the program because they need to start raising up leaders. And it's the thing that's baffled me most in sports since I was a kid. Just because they're the most talented player does not mean that they're the best captain. Yeah. And that's what has been for Brazil is, skills-wise, he's our best player. We're going to make him captain. Like, no, that's a Lord honky. You should not make him captain. I think the word I was looking for was hooey there. I don't know why I said honky.
Yeah,
that's
I'm very
weird.
confused.
Sorry, guys. I've been speaking
that.
Spanish for a week, so I'm trying to readjust. I think long-term, he's a locker room cancer. But short-term, again, they're better with him short-term. Think about this. Don't answer right away. I want you guys to take a second and think about it because your natural inclination is to be an answer, yes, there are others, but I want you to think about it. How many players on the Brazil national team right now could, hands down, every single time, if you looked at that player, you're like, yep, that they can win me a match? How many?
I see one.
Besides Neymar.
From an offensive standpoint or defensively as well?
Can take over a game. So let's say Brazil's playing Argentina and they're getting the snot kicked out of them,
Who's going to be the difference maker?
Who's going to be the guy that's going to take
goal?
the game by its reins and say, okay, we are being outclassed, but I'm going to start trying stuff and I'm going to do stuff to give my team confidence to get us back in the game. Who is that match winner for you?
So I think that David Neres is too young.
Yep.
I think Costa is too inconsistent.
Yep.
I think that Bobby Firmino is a good finisher, but he needs service.
He's not the focal point, yeah.
I think
he kind of fades out too.
Yep. Coutinho, inconsistent.
Yep.
I would say Coutinho because
he's too inconsistent.
I think when you say Coutinho, like when he was at Liverpool, Coutinho, you are our player. You are our man. You're our talisman. He becomes so much better.
When at Liverpool was he the talisman?
Right. The season before he left, it was him and Suarez.
No, we had Daniel Sturridge who was performing better than he was.
No, you look at that team, you think Daniel Sturridge was better than Coutinho? Daniel
Sturridge had double-digit goals that season.
Coutinho was your playmaker. He pulled all the strings.
Raheem Sterling, but he wasn't our match winner. That's what I'm trying to say.
Disagree.
Luis Suarez was our match winner. If the chips were down and things got tough, you could count on Suarez. But is
Neymar even that guy though?
I think most of the time Neymar is that guy.
So Neymar, when the chips are down and you need someone to step up, is going to get a goal in the 85th minute. I don't think so. I think he's going to quit.
He did it in the World Cup.
I think he's going to quit. When did he do it in the World Cup? Against who?
I'm trying to remember. Brazil won 2-0 and he had a brace. I'm trying to remember what game it was.
Against who?
I can't remember what team it was. Hold on. Let you guys talk amongst yourselves. Let me look it up real quick for you.
My question would be, was it anybody meaningful? What happens when the chips were down against Germany? Demolished. What happens when the chips are down against like Argentina? What happens when the chips are down against anybody that's relevant? Disappears. Ghost.
So it was Serbia. And then he also won 2-0 against
Serbia.
Mexico as well.
Mexico, great. Serbia, Mexico. Mexico might be the greatest team in CONCACAF. That's fine. But is Mexico realistically a top 10 team in the world? No. Is Serbia? Absolutely not. So you look at, like, has he ever done it ever in his career? He did it at the at the Olympics. Great, playing against U23 players. Has he ever done it at the national stage in a World Cup quarterfinal, in a World Cup semifinal, in a World Cup final? Has he ever done it at the Champions League level? No, not really. He did it with Barcelona, but he had so many supporting staff around him. You look at, he goes to PSG to be the guy. Fails. Can't do it.
Well, it's not necessarily that he can't do it.
No, but when the chips are down, he won't step up for his team, and they paid a fortune for him. I think Brazil's better without him. I think he's a distraction.
I agree with you long term. I think they're better without him.
I think they just... I don't know, man. I don't think he should have the role he has.
I don't believe he should be on the field anytime soon, but I do believe what Mason has to say about, someone stepping up. I don't think there's anybody else that's available to step up except for Neymar. Other than that, that's the only thing that I agree with.
Yeah.
But I just don't feel that he should be on the field.
Okay. Fair enough. I can respect both of you for those opinions. I mean,
he's
honestly, I
Goes
really
on
feel
vacation. He's very respectful now.
If
I'm
anything,
enlightened.
the only people that I feel that would probably step up on the field, but not necessarily score, but lock it down, would probably be like Fernandinho or Casemiro, and they're not even real goal scorers.
They're
just going to hold it
mids.
down. They're just going to hold it down and make sure that they don't lose.
I mean, Brazil is for I'd say the first time in a long time defensively looking very good with Fabinho and Alisson and.
But Fabinho didn't even make.
I know
the Copa America
that's weird,
roster.
but
yeah, he's got a Champions League medal as a starter, but he didn't make the Copa
No,
America.
I don't think that's it. I think the reality of that was I think he was not selected because of the fact that he did play such a big role in the Champions League, and I would hope at least that it's to rest him. I think Alisson, it's different because
That's not a reason to leave either of
He's
them
a
out.
goalkeeper. Well, you look at a lot of players that in like the Nations League got left out of the side that played in the Champions League. So I agree with you, but
Soft serve.
I'll rephrase. I hope that's the answer, because if the answer is, he doesn't belong in the 23, then that guy needs to get fired right now.
Because easily, he could start at probably 3 positions for them right now. Easily.
Also, potentially the best 6 in the world right now, because Conte doesn't play 6 anymore.
Holding mid, center back, right back. He could play all 3 of those for them.
Moving on, great transition for myself. Self 5 there. Speaking of Conte not playing 6, give it. So speaking of Conte not playing 6, what manager didn't want to do that? Oh, it's Sarri. Boys.
Also, my favorite board game.
Sarri. Sarri has signed a deal with Juventus. He is now going to be the Juventus manager. We've talked a lot about Chelsea and the impact on Chelsea. I don't want to hear any more about Chelsea. Producer Chris, you can be quiet over there, cry in your alcohol, and just leave it be. Boys, good move, bad move by Juventus to sign Sarri. And do you think he was the first choice or just the available choice?
I will field this one, Monsieur.
Please, have at it.
Was he the first choice or the available choice? I think he was top 3 in the list for candidates for them.
That didn't quite answer the question, but continue.
So I think they had 3 guys that it was narrowed down to, and he was either 2 or 3 on that list.
So not the first choice.
I think Conte was their number 1, and he went to Inter. And I think he was their number 2, because who else?
Pochettino.
Pochettino's not leaving Tottenham.
Right, but I think he was on the list.
Yeah. So
Above Sarri.
I think Sarri is the best guy that they could have gotten. So I think yes and no to both. Number 2, is he the right fit? Can't answer that right now because he hasn't even played a game yet.
Great. I'll answer it for you. No. What is Juventus thinking? You're looking at a guy who
That won the Europa League.
You're looking at great. He won the Europa League. Who did they play in the Europa League that was any good?
Not Arsenal.
No, seriously. You play a Arsenal team that is limping into the final and overachieving, and then just gets
You won
demolished.
4-1 at Valencia. What do you mean lipping into the
Valencia. Great.
final?
Valencia.
Frankfurt was a pretty good team, though.
Yeah, and then they fell apart. So
They won in penalties. They
Eintracht
didn't fall.
Frankfurt had one good player,
Who's that?
Jovic.
He got signed to Real.
and he's gone.
Kostic is pretty good too.
One elite level player. It's funny because Chelsea was just like kind of meh, and then it's like, oh, it's a final. Hazard's going to play like it's a final because it's the last game he's ever going to play for Chelsea. But anyway, I don't want to talk about the Europa League final.
Snowflake.
Look, you have a guy that tactically is very suspect. You have a guy that is very emotional. Have a guy that, in my opinion, is a poor man manager. And you're going to send him to potentially one of the best teams in the world with the best player in the world on it. And one of the most
He's
difficult.
not the best player in the world.
One of the
No, he's
most
not.
difficult players to manage in the world on it. And you're going to have a guy that wants to play a high back line with center backs that are over the age of 30. You have a guy who's going to do the running in the midfield. Is it going to be Ramsey? You don't have Conte anymore. That's why I played Conte at the different position, because he wanted Conte to run. Didn't want Conte to play at the 6. Who's going to play the 6? Is he going to sign Jorginho again from Chelsea? He's not managed a top flight team without Jorginho at the 6.
They've got Emery Khan.
Yeah, but Jorginho has been his 6 everywhere he goes.
He might sign Jorginho. I'm being 100% honest. I wouldn't be surprised. But in Italian football, Jorginho's fine.
So he has one good season with Napoli. He challenges for the title because he throws Europa away and focuses just on the league. He's won one trophy, and all of a sudden he's the rage of the world. I think within 6 months he's out. I think that you're looking at a legit title race in Italy.
Really?
Well,
you
yeah,
think that he's going to be so bad?
Yes, I do. I think Conte's going to be so good at Inter Milan that Inter have a shot.
I agree with the second part of that.
I do
think
agree
that
with
Inter's
Inter.
going to be really good.
At some point,
But I don't.
Luna could manage Juventus and maybe win a title.
Hey,
but
her
I
name
think
is Moon.
I think he's going to be that bad.
You peasant.
I think that he's going to do the exact same thing that Juventus has been doing for the past 8 years. That's what I think that
just
they're
be better than everyone else because you spend
No,
more money.
only.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter
Italian-
who their head coach is at this point.
Yeah,
so this
that's what
question's moved.
I think he's going to mess it up though.
No, I think that they'll still be first, but I don't think that they're going to win the Champions League, and that's the one thing
Absolutely,
that they
won't
want
win
to
the Champions League.
With him, I don't think that they're going to win it.
Devil's advocate. He was great in the Europa League. He was great in cups. So maybe.
Was he great in cups, or did he just have a decent route and he had Hazard, which was the best player in the competition?
He's got Ronaldo, which apparently, according to you, is the best player in the world.
Ronaldo is the best player in the world.
No, he's not.
Did you watch Messi play in the Copa America the other day?
We just got through talking about how that's not Messi's fault, and then you're going to throw him under the bus like that.
Doesn't mean he's the best player in the world.
I think that he
Second best player in the world.
Well, here's the thing: is I think that they'll win the Italian league. They won't do well in the Champions League, but I do think that if he does sign a player, his downfall will probably be a player that will not fit the system.
Jorginho.
If it is Jorginho, it is Jorginho. But I
Jorginho
think
fits sorry ball apparently.
yeah. But if he brings in a player that does play like Jorginho, I think that that's where he's going to screw up. When he brings in a player that
Harris Medunian, baby. Come on. Philly Union. Bring him in. He's the MLS Jorginho.
Yikes! I just look. I think you look at this Juventus team and you look at. I think Ronaldo has to play center forward,
But he's not as good in the middle as he is out wide.
I agree, but who else is going to play center forward?
Mandzukic.
Mandzukic has been playing wide for the past 2 years.
But they switched them both this last season.
Maybe, but Mandzukic plays centrally. He's decent, but he's what, 35, 36?
You also have to remember that Gonzalo Higuain is coming back off loan.
Great. He's garbage. And he didn't play for Sarri at Chelsea, so why is he going to play for Sarri at Juventus when the team is better?
Fair enough.
Also, I think Moises Kean could get a shot.
Yeah, Moise Keane's been playing well.
I think that you have some good wingers with Douglas Costa. I think that maybe Cuadrado will fit somewhere in the equation.
I think he's a guy that's gone.
I mean,
because you have two better right backs and better wingers.
But here's the problem. You have Sarri wants to play a certain way that I don't think the older player can fit.
He wants the pivot, right? So
the single pivot, yeah.
Yeah, and he's done that on both
But
teams
he also
so far.
wants to
All
play
the
a
teams.
higher line
I get that.
with the back four.
They're
and you're telling me that the back four of
looking at his roster
Chiellini, the ancient GOAT, is going to be able to play a high line? Ooh, man.
Well, they also have
Gervinho's going to love that.
I think Chiellini might be a guy that they start to phase out a little bit this season.
I'd hope so. He was, 37?
Because he's 34.
So
Same thing in soccer years.
So, because you have 30-year-old Bonucci, he's 30 this year, which he's still got some game in him.
Yeah.
And then
Brazzagli, obviously,
he
stepping down from the
retired.
club. Yeah.
23-year-old Diego Rugani, who's the future of the Italian national team in the middle. I think he'll get a lot of minutes under Sarri this season.
So who's going to play the 6?
I was just about to list off the midfielders for you.
Please enlighten us. I think
All
it'd be Pjanic.
Pjanic, Kadira, Matuidi, Chan,
So Matuidi will play that Conte role.
and Rodrigo Bentancur.
Oh, Betancourt's a really good player. That's
But
a good shout.
who do you think is going to play his 6? That's the question.
Pjanic right now.
You think
out
so?
of
Because
all
it's
of them.
the closest
And then
style
it's the
to the
closest, yes.
Regista.
It'll be Matuidi in the Conte role.
With Ramsey, by the way, coming
Ramsey
in.
there. And actually, no, I think Pjanic left. I think that's an old list you got there, Chris. I think
No, it's on their website.
So let me look at this real quick, because Ramsey should be on there. Okay, so he was rumored to leave. He has not left yet. So
Yeah, there you
for
go.
right now, we'll put Pjanic there. Matuidi will play the Conte role. Y'all in agreement there?
Yeah.
I think
then
so.
It'll either be Chan or Betancourt as the other one.
I think Ramsey slides in there and runs.
And that's the thing now.
Yeah, but a lot of these guys don't really play that type of role, so they're not going to like it. That's going to be
I
a
agree.
big issue. That's going to be a really
And
big issue.
I don't think Sarri's a good man manager.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a good relationship with his players.
I don't think so either. But here's the thing with Sarri, right? So at Chelsea, how much depth did he really have?
Oof.
None. Really?
But this
at
is interesting,
Juve,
though.
he's got a ton of depth.
But also, if you look at the squad he used at Napoli, his biggest knock on that was he didn't use depth. He used about 15 players. That's it. So you look at
Kind of the same thing he did at Chelsea.
Yeah, when you look at when he started at Chelsea, and it wasn't because
fair,
he didn't
guys.
have the depth. He made the same substitutions for the first 3 months, just back and forth. Kovacic for Barkley.
Yep.
Switch. Odoi for Pedro.
And
Switch.
Loftus-Cheek didn't come in until almost the end of the season.
Yeah, he made
And-
two subs that
and
were
then
the
it was
same
like-
sub, back and forth.
It
That
was
was
like Giroud for Batshuayi or something like that.
for Morata at
or
the time.
Morata, yeah. and then
Morata,
it
yeah.
was Giroud for Higuain.
Yep.
He subbed 2 wingers like for like, 2 center forwards like for like, two midfielders like for like, and that was were the 3 subs.
Yeah, it's fair enough, unless barring injury.
Yeah,
I
but
mean-
this was at the start of the season when everyone was healthy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
And like I said, I think that his signing is probably going to be his downfall. Whoever he signs for that 6th position, if he does, I think that's going to kill him.
What's going to make or break it is his relationship with Ronaldo. If Ronaldo likes him, he stays. If Ronaldo doesn't like him, he is gone like the wind, gone in 60 seconds.
I don't think either of that matters. I think the only
You don't think his relationship with these star players is important?
Listen, I think that those things matter a little bit, but I don't think they matter as much as results.
You have to remember that Ronaldo has played with a lot of managers,
Yeah.
a lot of them. So I don't think it's going to be really
I think he's
quick.
gonna hate him.
But if he's winning, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I think the Italian league is more scrutinized because they're expected to win. I think it will depend on their success in the Champions League.
That's the
Yeah,
one
that's
big.
fair.
That's the big one.
That's the big question mark
If
that
they're-
I don't know the answer to.
We'll have to see. Interesting. I think it's a stupid choice for Juve to sign him. I think it's the wrong choice. But they got their man, so we'll see how that develops, and also how how Chelsea do when they cope with relegation in 3 years. Yeah, I can hope.
Wow.
So, guys, I got one last question for you. We'll do it briefly. So there's been talk of an expanded World Cup field. There's a talk of, 2026 is when being hosted by the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. So there is talks of expanding the field to 48 teams. Do you agree with this? Do you disagree with this? What are your thoughts behind it?
Strongly disagree.
Really? Why?
Because why are we opening up more spots in a prestigious tournament for teams to just water down the level of competition?
But it makes it better.
How?
Because
So I don't want to see Benin playing Brazil in the group stage and getting the snot kicked out of them 14-0. I don't want to see that.
So here's
USA Thailand is a perfect example.
fair enough. But here's my thing. So, more teams, more popularity of the sport in different countries because you have a more realistic chance at making the World Cup, just based off statistics.
But you, being a guy about all development, would 48 teams make it easier to get in the World Cup, yes or no?
Yeah.
So why would countries pour as much money into development if they know that it's going to be easier for
Because
them to get
if
in the World Cup?
if I'm, let's say Tahiti, for example. So Tahiti back a long time ago. I can't remember what year it was, but they made the Confederations Cup. They did not qualify for the World Cup. So when they made the Confederations Cup, it was like the end all be all. So here's my question. If you tell a team like Tahiti that can surprise people on days, they won the Asian Cup is how they got in, or the Oceania Cup, excuse me, is how they got in, and then they didn't qualify. So if you tell a team like Tahiti, hey, we're going to give you guys 2 extra spots, 2 extra Oceania teams are going to come in the World Cup. You don't think they're going to be like, oh man, we have a better shot at making the tournament. We're so close. If we just put a little bit more time and money to a more attainable goal, we're going to get there. I think the fringe teams will invest in it, and I think it will get better, and I think the teams will get better.
I just think the only reason they're doing it is for more money. They don't really care about
that's
the
100% the reason.
sport.
But I think that would be a positive influence. Also, at the same time, I think that the quarterfinal games, the round of 16 games, would be better and more meaningful because it just builds and it builds, and it's you get to work your way into the tournament. So if you start out with an easy game and kind of build your way up to kind of harder games, you're going to be in your best form because you're going to be playing in together.
Well,
you're going to be in good
all that does
form.
is put wear and tear on your players. It's more games.
But it'll have you. So if you're beating a team 6-0, you can rotate your squad. So you don't have to play your guys for 90 minutes.
But you're only able to get 3 subs.
Yeah, so
that really isn't a good
So going into the game,
it.
look at, like example, the U.S. Women's World Cup today. The United States women's national team still won 3-0 today after making 7 changes. It lets more players play in actual World Cup and get minutes.
But
it's squad rotation, and it lets you build up to the quarterfinal, which make the round of 16 games and the quarterfinal games more meaningful.
I still think
Because the quality will be better when you get later in the tournament.
My other point on this is like, okay, you expand it to 48. Where does it end? Right? Where are we going to stop? Like same thing's going on with Major League Soccer right now. Whoop-de-doo, 30 teams, awesome. Like, great, we're going to have 56 Major League Soccer teams in 3 different leagues, and you're going to have one final between all 3 leagues, and it's going to be awful. So don't change it. It's been 32 teams forever. Leave it at 32 teams. It ain't broke. Don't fix it.
Producer Chris?
I just don't feel that adding more teams to it is going to make it any better. I feel that
Disagree.
if people, here's something that you kind of pointed out to, all right? You said that there's a build-up to it. Guess what? People aren't going to want to watch the first few games.
They're not.
They're not. So that build-up is garbage.
Yeah,
that build-up means nothing, especially when you're already getting.
So you don't think when the
teams.
United States beats Thailand 13-0 that people will be like, oh, they're playing Thailand, we're not going to watch. No, more people watch than ever.
No, you're absolutely right. But guess what? If you added more teams to it,
Yeah.
there's going to be more of that. Nobody's going to want to watch the thrashing.
So, like,
let's just
I
say,
disagree.
If
I
I'm
think-
watching Spain play Turks and Caicos, like, I'm not watching that game.
I think every
Because
Spanish
there's no realistic chance for Turks and Caicos to beat Spain. You can
Then
give me
they should be better.
You can. So
when they they get there,
they should be better.
and they get killed in 4 years, they're
Yeah.
going to be like, man, that was
So-
embarrassing. We should get better. So,
So-
next time we don't get our kicked.
They should be better. Correct, right? So if they should be better, they should be good enough to make a 32-team
No,
tournament.
I don't disagree with you on that, but I'm saying I think this will make the game better in terms of popularity, and it will inject a lot of quality into the coaching education and the youth development from fringe countries.
So if you're playing out at Northwest Soccer Club for the Outsiders FC, which is our men's team here in Austin, would you rather play 10 games and have good opposition for, let's say, competitive opposition for, let's say, 7 out of the 10 games, or play 16 games and only get good opposition for, like, 5 or 6 of those games? Like, which would you rather play?
I'd rather play 16, and I would rather start with the easy game so we could build into it. So that way you don't come out game 1, play a ringer, and lose, and then it's like, man,
Be better.
That's unfortunate. We should have
prepared for the
started.
stage.
We should have started better. I think it lets teams. I think if you let
That's
teams
soft.
ramp up into the tournament, it's going to create the best possible form for Germany to play Brazil in the quarterfinal,
that's
and it's
what
going to be
friendlies are for.
an
But yeah, that's
what friendlies-
unbelievable game.
That's what friendlies
but
are for.
it's not the same.
But that's
It
the whole
is.
point.
It's not the same.
That's the whole point
The
of
whole
it.
point of the World Cup is to be at your best when you get there. That's why you're in the World Cup.
But you know for a fact that you have
it's
to
not
warm
called the
up.
let's all hold hands and kick out of terrible teams cup. It's the World Cup, which insinuates you are the best in the world.
Hold on.
When you open it up to more countries, it is diminishing the value of being the best in the world and diminishes the value of qualifying for that tournament.
I think it's going to make the better teams at the tip-top possible peak of their performance. And it'll make the games even better.
Or it just gives them more time for players to get injured and not to have their full squad available.
Or it gives, player 21 through 23 a chance to play in the World Cup. God forbid they never get a chance to touch the field.
But that's not what it's about. It's about winning and putting the best players out there for your country. It's not about giving Skippy McWho gives their debut because they're playing Tahiti.
But
it's not what it's about.
But what happens when, let's say, Trinidad and Tobago gets into the World Cup and they come out and they play a Serbia and Trinidad and Tobago they nick one and they get 3 points. You don't think that country, it's going to be unbelievable and it will revolutionize the game in that country? And then, lo and behold, the lower teams will move up to the middle-class teams. The middle-class teams will move up to the higher-class teams. And over the next 10 years, you'll see a shift in talent to be better at the top end.
Okay, yeah.
It's a process.
Then tell me what happened to South Africa.
South Africa got in because they hosted.
Okay, and guaranteed, they came out. They did exactly what you said Trinidad and Tobago was going to do against Serbia. They got a result against Mexico. And what happened? Have they been in a World Cup since?
No, but they qualified because they hosted, not because they qualified on their own. It's different when it's just, instead of being like, oh, you're the host, here you go, you get to play. Like, it's different when you earn the qualification and you take the right steps and you go in that process. It means more. Instead of just being like, oh, congratulations, you're in the World Cup, you host it.
I would also argue something similar for Iceland.
Iceland has still been very good.
Did they make it out of the group stage?
In what?
Last World Cup?
In the World Cup? They were close.
But did they make it out of the group stage?
No, because they came up against Messi, who's the second best player in the world.
Okay, so why then?
But also, Iceland shouldn't be in the conversation because Iceland is good enough to be
exactly.
there. Iceland is good enough to be there.
Exactly. So it's the World Cup. It's not the yippee, look at me, I can play soccer cup. Like, World Cup, which means the best in the world. Do not expand that. We have so much in our society today that's being expanded, and everyone gets what they want. Everyone gets a participation trophy. Do not do that to the most pristine tournament in the history of soccer. Do not do that.
Guys, we'd love to hear what you have to say about all this stuff. Obviously, talked about a lot of cool topics today, but we want to give you guys the content you want to hear. So please let us know. You can get at us on Facebook, Box to Box Radio, Instagram, box_radio, our Twitter at B_B_radio. Our email is 90min@box2boxradio.com. We'd love to have you send in a question for the away leg. We'd love to give you a shout out on the show if you send us a good question or if you interact with us. We are on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, with a website coming soon with all the details up you could possibly want. Thanks again to Sincerely Yours. Guys, this has been Travis Carmichael, and this has been The Away Leg.